Questions and comments?
Pat Langford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary for her speech. A quick comment just on the language she was using in her speech about the involvement of gangs in the cannabis industry. I would caution her on using some of that inflammatory and fear-mongering language, because I'd also encourage her to read a report by Professor Michael de Villers, who has done extensive research on this topic, and he's found that by far, most people involved in the illicit cannabis market will never ever have contact with a violent criminal or any of the violence associated with the industry, and many people in fact grow it to supplement their own income. So it resembles much more of a stratified industry. The second point, and this relates to my question, Madam Speaker, my colleague from Vancouver Kingsway has said that this is not really a legalization bill. What it does is it makes it less illegal. This bill sets up a whole new framework with a lot more prohibitions than what currently exists. And so if under Section 7 this Liberal government has the purpose of reducing the burden on the criminal justice system in relation to cannabis, yet they're setting up all of these new prohibitions, does she honestly think that in light of the Jordan decision after this bill is passed that our criminal justice system will be less used than it is currently today?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the President of the Treasury Board.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. And this is the very kind of question that I think lead to good debate in the House. And so I want to thank my honourable colleague. Being from Vancouver, Metro Vancouver, which my colleague across the aisle doesn't share that privilege, I am very aware of how much violence in the streets has been tied to drug crime and organized crime. And that's exactly why we had a coalition of literally dozens of professionals, medical professionals, police, criminology professionals, justice professionals, with a coalition that's called Stop the Violence BC. So it may be a stratified criminal activity now, as he mentions, but there was a strong element of organized crime that was creating fear on the streets and actually deaths of innocent bystanders, and that has to stop. Secondly, the prohibitions are very important to protect younger Canadians who are below the minimum threshold from being exposed to the sale of cannabis illegally, and I think that that is an important part of this whole framework, because it is about health and safety, and especially protecting our youth.
Resuming debate, reprise